Hey, what's up guys, it's Carson, and today I'm going to make my How I Knew I Was Trans video. I feel like everybody's story is a little bit different, but I do feel like mine is pretty stereotypically in line with a lot of trans guys. But anyway, this is How I Knew I Was Trans. So I was born on May 23rd, 1991, so that makes me 27. I was assigned female at birth. I don't really know if my parents wanted a boy or a girl, but I know that they told my parents I was going to be a boy. I guess you couldn't see my genitals the way I was laying in the ultrasound, so they went off my heartbeat, and I think they said that boys have faster heartbeats generally than girls, so they told my mom that I was gonna be a boy, and I'm like, see, someone knew that I should have been a boy. My mom told me though that she instinctively knew she was gonna have a girl, that she could feel it, that the doctors were wrong. I don't know if that's a thing, if moms can have like that intuition on what gender their child's gonna be, but I guess according to my mom, she was right, and I came out a girl, and she was really happy to have a girl, and so was my grandma, because my grandma really wanted a girly girl her whole life, and my mom also was pretty tomboyish and masculine until she got into like her late 20s, and so my grandma didn't get to have that girly daughter, so she was really, yes, I'm gonna be able to have this girly granddaughter. So my mom definitely raised me very girly. I can remember her putting me in dresses, fixing my hair up really nice, putting makeup on me at even a young age, like 9, 10. My mom started making me shave my legs at like 10. That's a little ridiculous, but yeah, that's what my mom did. I remember having kind of issues with this. I can remember going to church and feeling like, why can't I dress like the boys? They get to wear suit pants and just dress shirts, and I hated the way dresses felt. There was just something inside me that made me uncomfortable. I didn't like the way my mom styled my hair. There was a lot of resistance growing up on this, but I didn't really know why. I definitely was very tomboyish. You know, after school, my mom would put me in play clothes, and they were pretty masculine, just shorts and t-shirts, and I liked digging around in the dirt, and I liked playing with trucks. I definitely played with way more boys than girls. Girls didn't like me. I didn't like playing with dolls. I just didn't like being around girls. Boys seemed to get me. I seemed like I felt more like them, but at the same time, I kind of felt excluded sometimes because I wasn't a boy, so I felt like I didn't really fit in anywhere in any type of place. When I got into, I think, 5th grade, they taught us about puberty. My mom had already told me a lot about puberty growing up. I don't know why. I feel like she wanted someone to share the experience with because she grew up with 2 brothers. And I just can remember her telling me all the time that she couldn't wait for me to get my period. And she would tell me about how terrible it is. And it scared me a lot. Then we took this class on puberty in 5th grade, and they split the girls and the boys up. They gave the girls a puberty book and the boys a puberty book. And when I read what was going to happen to me, it scared me. I did not want to get a chest. I didn't want to get a period. I didn't want to be able to get pregnant. I didn't want to think that there was like any kind of possibility that I could ever carry a child, and to be like 8, 9 years old and then tell you this, that was like really scary. I had a boyfriend at the time that might be kind of young, but he gave me his book to read, and I didn't think that his puberty sounded bad at all. I was just like, yeah, like if I could pick, I definitely want to go through male puberty. My mom still got me ready for school and stuff at this age, and she started to finally let me pick my own stuff out. But when I'd come home from school from 5th grade, my mom did not like the way I was choosing to dress because I just really didn't put any effort into my look. I was just wearing jeans and t-shirts, leaving my hair down. I didn't fix it up. I didn't put any makeup on, nothing like that. And so my mom pretty much told me, you can have one of 2 options. You can either cut all your hair off into like a pixie cut, or we can perm it, because she wanted me to be feminine. I took the option of cutting my hair. It wasn't something that I necessarily wanted, but I knew I didn't want to perm. So I let my mom cut all my hair off, and it was like a classic dyke spike. So you like spike up the back and then you leave the front. It was like really in style back then. I don't see anybody wear it anymore, probably because it was ugly. But then when I went into 6th grade, that is when my mom started letting me pick out my clothes, or right at the end of 6th grade. So we went to Target for school clothes. We were kind of poor. And I just instinctively went to the boys section. I just kind of looked, boys section. I didn't even think about it. boys' clothes were way more comfortable and they were just cool. They had tribal designs and dragons and motorcycles and flames. And girls' clothes had flowers and princesses and pink and purple. And just stuff I wasn't into. So I think my mom thought it was a little bit weird that I wanted to dress like a boy, but I guess she was just like, guess my daughter's a tomboy. She didn't give me any resistance, at least, fortunately. So I went to school, and I can remember getting a lot of backlash from other kids that were just kind of like, why do you dress like a boy? Which I didn't think was weird at all. I'm kind of like, I don't understand why they think it's weird, because I didn't think it was weird. It's just what I like. But I guess at this point in time, other girls were starting to get pretty feminine, and I'm really starting to get pretty masculine. So at this point, we're going into 7th grade. I would dress really girly some days. I would do my makeup. I would wear short shorts, really cute little girl shirts. And then other days I would wear really boy stuff. I was really trying to figure myself out. And by the end of the year, I definitely figured out I liked boy stuff better. At the end of my 7th grade year, an Oprah episode came on. And again, like I said, we were poor, so we didn't have cable. And I can remember seeing this episode come on about transgender children. It kind of piqued my interest. I saw it like on the TV, and I was like, ooh, I want to watch that episode. So I actually taped it, watched the episode. They explained what transgender was, and this was the first time I'd ever heard of it, and it just clicked, and I was like, that is me. I absolutely feel like I was born the wrong sex. I should have been born a boy, and I was really excited. I felt like I finally figured out what was wrong with me. So since I taped the episode, I went and I told my mom, and I wanted her to watch it, and I thought my mom would be kind of supportive, but honestly, she wasn't. She, like I said, I think earlier, like we were raised Christian, and my mom thought it was sick and disgusting. She's very anti-gay and just very anti-trans. Told me that I was going to go to hell, and any parent who lets their kid do that's going to hell. And that really sucked. I finally felt happy that I figured out what was wrong with me, and now I was just miserable because I wasn't accepted for who I definitely thought I was at the time. I go into 8th grade. At this point, I am totally out as male, at least to myself. I only wore boys' clothes. I had a very boy haircut. But I guess people at school, I didn't come out for like a while, so people at school, I guess they just thought I was weird. I'm sure teachers probably thought I was a lesbian, even probably a lot of other kids thought I was too, but I didn't even really know about being gay at this point in time, so I definitely didn't think that I was a lesbian. At the end of 8th grade, I got my period. That was the worst day ever. I started in the beginning of school, and I kind of just I instinctively felt like I knew that's what happened, but I didn't want to check. I didn't go to the bathroom all day at school. I got home, and I still didn't want to check. I felt like if I pulled my pants down and I saw blood, it would just be super traumatic. So it sounds really gross, but I actually just put my hand down there, and I looked, and there was blood, and it was confirmed that had happened to me, and I started to cry right away because I always had hoped that would just never happen to me, that there would just be some kind of defect with me and I would never get my period. I went and told my mom, which my mom was really happy. And again, I'm like, how can you be happy for this? This is the one thing I never wanted to happen to me. So my mom told me, do you want pads or tampons? It's like, a pad. I am not sticking something up there. I shouldn't even have anything there. And then I cried for the rest of the night. And every time I got my period after that, all the way through high school, I cried. I cried in the middle of class a lot. And a lot of other girls didn't seem to understand why it made me so dysphoric, which I didn't even know that's what it was at the time. But yeah, I would cry in class, and people would be like, what's wrong? Even teachers. And I would tell them I'm on my period, and other girls just kind of acted like, so all girls get their period. It sucks, but you just deal with it. And I'm just sitting there thinking, how can you not want to kill yourself? Because I really did want to kill myself every single period I got. And once a month, that just seems like a lot, to be honest. So yeah, I really, really started to feel terrible when that happened. So when I was going into 9th grade, the summer before that, I taught these kids at this kind of summer camp thing. They definitely didn't have any filter. They were really young, 5 to 9. And a lot of them had mentioned how I was a boy, but I was a boy that had a very visible chest. So at this point, I knew I had to start binding. I didn't even start wearing a bra until like the year before that when my mom made me, and I only wore sports bras. I don't know if they made binders back then, and if they did, I had no way to get one, so the only way I knew how to bind was duct tape. So I would wear a sports bra, and then I would just like duct tape around the sports bra, push the tissue down. I don't feel like I did it overly tight, and I know a lot of people are really against duct tape, but it was the only option I had back then. I feel like I binded more just to not be like comfortable with myself, but to not be stared at in public, because I definitely did pass as a boy, but then like my chest gave me away, and I didn't really know of any butch lesbians or that was a thing back then. So that is why I started binding, and then it just got to where I felt like it was comfortable, not comfortable, but like uncomfortable to not wear it and to feel them and to see them and to notice them. So then 10th grade was pretty much the same as 9th grade. I still wasn't out to people. Like, I just told a lot of people I wanted to be a boy. I didn't tell people that I was trans. I just told them I liked boys' clothes. I kind of wish I was born a boy. In 11th grade, I did come out to some people. So at this point, I started to grow out my leg hair, which became obvious when I wore shorts. There was one other butch lesbian who did grow out her leg hair. So she was like cool to me, because at least she was another female who had leg hair. But I still, again, wasn't like completely out to everyone. Only some people knew I was trans. Really, only my close friends. Because being trans wasn't like a big thing back then. So I wasn't like, hey, I'm trans, because people would probably be like, what's trans? So yeah. Then going to 12th grade, I did most of my senior year as a boy, but at the end of my senior year, I decided to socially detransition. I definitely was starting to not pass. I had a lot of issues in high school. I'd rather just make a separate video on like a lot of these instances that happened to me, but a lot of times when I went into the girls' bathroom at school, which they made me go into, I felt like I was gonna get assaulted. There was a couple times I did almost get assaulted out in public. From classmates or people at my school that did or didn't know. I had a lot of people that would come up to me, ask me what my name was. I was always the, hey, that's actually a girl over there. No, it isn't, man. That's not a girl. Yeah, it is. Go ask her what her name is. And I hated it. I hated high school. I mean, I liked high school. I just didn't like the way I was treated in high school because I was so different. And then my mom was just not really supportive and was very like, you bring this stuff on yourself because you choose to dress that way. You choose to be trans. My mom has turned around a lot these days, but back then really was just nasty to me, made fun of me at home for this. So I went to the mall and I tried on the most girly boy clothes I could find. I was still too scared to wear girls' clothes and I thought they were uncomfortable. So I started wearing girly boy clothes and I kind of wore my hair up. And I definitely turned a lot of heads. A lot of people thought it was interesting that I started to dress like a girl right at the end of my senior year. Then I went to college and again, like I felt like it would just be too hard to continue to try to pass as male. So at this point, I really kind of was starting to get interested in men. And I was somewhat interested in men in high school, and it always confused me because I didn't even know you could be a gay trans guy. So there was just so much disconnect between I'm like, am I, a straight girl? And my mom would tell me, see, you like men, so you're straight, which I still don't know what I am. So that really like messed with me. But yeah, I was really starting to like guys, so I felt like I needed to be girly. And then I dated a couple guys, and they felt like I needed to be girly for them. And then I became really, really, really feminine for some guys that I still was never girly enough for, and it was just so uncomfortable for me. I'm feeling like, this is girly, and they're like, no, it isn't, which it really wasn't when you compare it to other girls. So I don't know, after my last relationship, or I tried to get this guy, and I wasn't girly enough, I was just like, I'm tired of being what other people want me to be, and it's not even enough. I was still watching a lot of trans YouTube videos, and I just kept feeling like I wish I had never detransitioned. I didn't have the opportunity to continue my transition anyway. I was on my parents' health insurance. There's no way it would have covered T. My parents probably wouldn't have allowed it. They didn't even allow me to take Jepo birth control until I turned 18 to stop my periods. So it was just going to get to the point where I wasn't going to pass anymore, so I felt like it was best to just live as a female. And in some aspects, living as a female has been easier because, I mean, I don't worry about passing. Getting clocked is always one of my like worst fears, or was my worst fear when living as a male. I felt like an imposter. I felt like everyone could just look at me and go, "You're a female. I can see what's in your pants," even though like they can't, but it just feels like everybody knows. Now I know testosterone will change that to some aspects, but that is a lot of why I'm afraid to transition medically or socially again, because I just feel like I'm going to get a lot of anxiety around people who, you know, either know or don't know. And the thing is I've never been stealth, and I won't be this time either, because people know that I'm female unless I move later. So just knowing that there are people that know, and some people don't understand that it's not acceptable to tell people that, I don't know, it's scary. So yeah, anyway, for like the last couple years, I've been feeling like I should just go back to being my true self. I cut my hair again. I mean, I never got it really, really long. And then I just started wearing a couple of boys' shirts, and I was like, yeah, like this feels comfortable. I took a picture of myself full body length, and I didn't like the way my chest looked, so I started binding again about 1.5 years ago. Now I am wearing GC2B binders, which I still don't think are like super comfortable, but I guess they're better than duct tape. And yeah, now I have an appointment, hopefully, to start T in like just a couple weeks. I'm going to go ahead and do informed consent because I still don't have good health insurance, and I think it'll be cheaper this way. But yeah, when it gets there, and I'll make a video about that too. So anyway, that's how I knew I was trans. Basically, like I said this in my ginger tag video, I just feel like my body was wrong. Like I should have been born male with all the male attributes: penis, flat chest, facial hair, testosterone, you know, all the things. But that's how I figured out what trans was, and that's how I figured out that I was trans. And yeah. So anyway, I'll continue making videos, and I'll definitely make a video about when I get on T. So if you like this kind of content, I guess subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.